I'd like to welcome you to this bidders conference for the Supporting Pennsylvania's Agriculture Sector through Apprenticeships and Pre-Apprenticeships Grant Initiative. And the purpose of this meeting is to provide you with information as detailed in the Notice of Grant Availability, which was released recently on December 18th, and of course to also allow for some questions from you. My name is Will Horan with the Apprenticeship and Training Office, and I will be managing this grant program. So I will be serving as your point of contact for any questions or technical assistance going forward. And before we actually get into the presentation here, I do want to let everyone know that this bidders conference is being recorded. And I also ask that if you do have a question, if you could um, post your question in the chat, and we will cover those at the end of the presentation. And you could also, feel free to enter any questions throughout the conference. And yeah, there's a question and answer section at the end of this presentation. And finally, everything that is being covered today is included in the NGA, apart from questions and answers, which will be transcribed and provided in the near future. So, on December 18th, the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry released the Supporting Pennsylvania's Agriculture Sector through Apprenticeships and Pre-Apprenticeships Notice of Grant Availability. And purpose of this NGA is to provide two opportunities for funding in support of agriculture workers through the apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship model. Opportunity 1 supports the development of new registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships, while Opportunity 2 supports the expansion of existing registered apprenticeships or registered pre-apprenticeships. So for Opportunity 1, that will award up to $400,000 per grantee to support the creation of new registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships. Opportunity 2 will award up to $200,000 per grantee to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion in existing registered apprenticeships or registered pre-apprenticeships. Approximately $2 million in funding is available for supporting Pennsylvania's agriculture sector through apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. So, registered apprenticeships have 5 key components that differentiate the approach from other types of workplace training programs. The components include a paid job, on-the-job training, related technical instruction, mentorship, and credentials. This combination of components is what makes registered apprenticeship a viable option for giving career development opportunities to individuals who may have not been able to engage in it prior through more traditional methods. Registered pre-apprenticeships have 5 key components as well that lay the foundation for future apprentices by preparing qualified candidates with academic knowledge and skills training tailored to specific jobs and industries. Each pre-apprenticeship program establishes a connection to at least one existing registered apprenticeship program, offers approved training and curriculum, delivers hands-on learning through a variety of unique programs, designs, and approaches, offers the opportunity to earn an industry recognized credential, and access to support services and career counseling. So it is important to note the Apprenticeship and Training Office Field Staff Division. The Field Division will assist awardees to understand the process to register a new apprenticeship program. They will also be very valuable in understanding the guidelines and regulations if you intend to expand a registered apprenticeship, led by Supervisor Christy DeWitt and consisting of area apprenticeship and training representatives, or ATRs. In addition to special project ATRs, this division will be a vital partnership for grantees of this award. If your organization is awarded a grant, there will be a deadline to engage with the ATR to begin planning, and this should be noted in your application timeline. More details on the application and how the ATRs fit into the registration process will be detailed later in the presentation, and additional details will also be provided once grants are awarded. All right, so the pre-apprenticeship division is led by Supervisor Danielle Demirovic and consists of 2 pre-apprenticeship and training representatives, or ATRs. And as stated with the ATR Field Division review, the pre-apprenticeship division will be a key partner for awardees of this grant. And if you intend to use grant funds to develop a new registered pre-apprenticeship or expand an existing registered pre-apprenticeship, you will need to meet with a pre-apprenticeship ATR to plan the program. Again, as with the previous slide, it should be noted that if your organization is awarded a grant, there will be a deadline to engage with the pre-apprenticeship division to begin planning, and this should be noted in your application timeline. All right, so apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs funded by this grant must be registered with the Commonwealth. Awardees will have until 1 year from contract start date to finalize their registration or show progress towards the finalization of the registration. And if a grantee intends to expand a registered apprenticeship and or pre-apprenticeship, the grantee is required to ensure registered program sponsors remain compliant with all U.S. and PA laws, policies, regulations, and standards. To learn more, please sign up for a registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship orientation. I have the links here, which I will paste in the chat just after this presentation. So there are some guides and resources available for employers, training providers, and sponsors at the PA CareerLink website under registered apprenticeship. And again, I can put that link in the chat just after this. So the agricultural industry represents 1 in 10 jobs in the state of Pennsylvania. And according to the 2021 Economic Impact Study, more than 75,000 new or replacement jobs will be available in the agriculture and food industry over the next decade. Developing and expanding the registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship opportunities in the agricultural sector will foster the next generation of workers who will continue feeding, housing, and safeguarding the public. Good jobs in this sector are vital to Pennsylvania's economy, supporting workers, families, businesses, and communities. And by ensuring that these good jobs are accessible to all, Pennsylvania strengthens its agricultural foundation while helping build a more equitable economy. Through this grant opportunity, the ATO's overarching goals of this initiative are to encourage pathways to enter into agricultural occupations, develop career pathways for advancement in agricultural occupations, further support individuals in agricultural occupations and increase retention rates within these occupations, expand existing agricultural registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs by serving additional apprentices and pre-apprentices from traditionally underserved populations, and encouraging support for the development of workplace accessibility as it relates to the physical and digital environments. So initiatives that focus on the following, which are specific to this grant opportunity, need to be addressed within the project narrative, include new, previously unfunded initiatives, initiatives utilizing a group model. Proposals demonstrate a commitment to serve and increase access for historically underrepresented and underserved students, workers, businesses, and communities, such as by addressing barriers to education and employment. Design, creation, adjustment, and upgrade of environments and services to support both physical and digital accessibility for apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship participants in the work environment. And finally, applicants who demonstrate collaborations with labor unions to support apprentices or pre-apprentices. And it's important to note that in order to meet this priority consideration, the labor union must either be the grant applicant or they must provide a letter of support outlining specifics related to their involvement in the project. Eligibility. Eligible applicants include organizations that will serve as or are currently serving as a sponsor or intermediary of new or existing registered apprenticeships/pre-apprenticeships. If the applicant is not the program sponsor, the grantee must show significant evidence of the sponsor being an involved partner in this grant application. Businesses, community-based organizations, economic development organizations, industry associations, labor organizations, local workforce development boards, nonprofits, post-secondary institutions, public libraries, and STEM ecosystems. The Applicant must also demonstrate the ability to coordinate, manage, and implement the design of the project, development and implement the project budget, implement a strategy to collect, analyze, and report performance outcomes, and coordinate and evaluate the activities of the project. They must also be capable of monitoring and administering the fiscal components of the project, as well as being capable of submitting the required reporting elements at the required intervals as documented in the NGA, and they must have the capacity to work with an evaluator. So continuing on eligibility, applicants are also required to have a Pennsylvania SAP vendor identification number, and this can be obtained at no cost online or calling the vendor data management unit at 717-346 2676, sorry, or 1-877-435-7363. It could take up to 2 weeks to receive a vendor number, and if you're unable to attain a Pennsylvania SAP vendor identification number in a timely fashion, you may submit the application prior to receipt. However, you will not be awarded a grant without documentation of this Pennsylvania vendor identification number. You also need a unique entity ID, which is a 12-character alphanumeric ID assigned to an entity by sam.gov. That's sam.gov. For assistance in obtaining a new unique identity ID or to identify an existing unique entity ID, refer to the links and resources section within the NGA. And finally, you also have to comply with the workforce grant agreement. Applicants who cannot meet these additional requirements at the time of award will relinquish their award. Now, for a fiscal agent is an organization that agrees to accept and be responsible for grant funds on behalf of the grantee. A fiscal agent is often a business or a school that signs a legal contract with the Commonwealth of PA and is responsible for all fiscal accounting. This is not the same as the head accountant or supervisor of the business department. The fiscal agent handles invoicing, payments, state and federal tax reporting, etc. It's important to note that if called upon, the fiscal agent must provide documents for state or federal auditing, and in addition, the fiscal agent must take out employee dishonesty/theft insurance for at least $100,000. Some grantees serve as their own fiscal agents if able, while other grantees ask eligible organizations such as a local workforce board to be their fiscal agent. And if local workforce development boards apply as a region, the region must appoint a single board or a single local workforce development board as the lead applicant, who must also act as the fiscal agent. The required activities outlined below are intended to frame the types of services and or activities permitted that would be necessary for successful program delivery. Projects supporting new apprentices from traditionally underserved populations during the grant period with the intent that a percentage remain active and or successfully complete the program and achieve journey worker status. Projects utilizing a group model supports multiple counties, employers, and apprentices from traditionally underserved populations during the grant period, again, with the intent that a percentage maintain active status or achieve journey worker status by completing the program. And projects supporting pre-apprentices from traditionally underserved populations with the intent to successfully enroll and matriculate a number of completers into affiliated registered apprenticeship programs during the grant period. All right, so for performance metrics, a successful project will result in the following outcomes being met. So for opportunity one, we have developing an individual registered apprenticeship program that serves at least 2 apprentices during the grant period with the intent that 50% remain active and or successfully complete the program. Use of funding to offset on-the-job learning and or related technical instruction or RTI costs, and provide wraparound support services in support of the new enrollments per project, and will equate to at minimum $2,000 per apprentice. develop a registered apprenticeship program that utilizes a group model to support at least three employers and nine apprentices with the intent that 80% remain active and or successfully complete the program to achieve journey worker status. Again, use of funding to offset OJL and or RTI costs and provide wraparound support services in support of the new enrollments per project and will equate to at minimum 2,000 per apprentice and or develop a registered pre-apprenticeship program that serves at least 15 pre-apprentices, and this must result in successful enrollment and matriculation of at least five pre-apprenticeship completers into the affiliated registered apprenticeship, and use of funding to offset paid work experience, RTI costs, support services directly in support of the new enrollments per project and will equate to at minimum $600 per apprentice. And similarly here, we have opportunity two for expansion. So expand an individual registered apprenticeship program that serves at least two apprentices from traditionally underserved populations with the intent that 50% remain active or complete the program to achieve journey worker status, use of funding to offset OJL and or RTI costs, and provide wraparound support services of the new enrollments per project, and will equate to at minimum 2,000 per apprentice. Again, and or expanding a registered apprenticeship program utilizing a group model serving at least three employers and nine apprentices from traditionally underserved populations with the intent that 80% remain active and or successfully complete the program and again achieve journey worker status during the grant period, and use of funding to offset OJL and RTI costs and provide wraparound support services in support of the new enrollments per project and will equate to at minimum 2,000 per apprentice. And finally, expanding a registered pre-apprenticeship program that serves at least 15 apprentices from traditionally underserved populations during the grant period, and must result in successful enrollment and matriculation of at least five pre-apprenticeship completers into the affiliated registered apprenticeship. Use of funding to offset paid work experience, RTI costs, support services, etc., directly in support of the new enrollments per project, and again, will equate to at minimum $600 per pre-apprentice. Uh, Initial review criteria. So prior to comprehensive merit evaluation, L&I will perform an initial review to determine that the applicant is eligible, the information required as seen in the NGA has been received by the deadline, and the proposal is aligned and responsive to the NGA, and all mandatory components have been received, which includes an application form, project summary cover letter, project narrative, letters of support, sustainability plan, timeline, goals and outcomes table, budget and budget justification, and the worker protection certification form. And only those applications that pass the initial review will be scored in the merit review. The final awards will be based on a merit evaluation. Please refer to the NGA for specifics on the merit evaluation criteria. So now we jump into the application package submission instructions. First off, applicants must obtain and download the official NGA required documents from the L&I Grants website. And for the formatting and contents, this is important. It needs to be single-spaced, 8.5 by 11 page size, 1-inch margins, 11-point Calibri font, PDF format with the exception of the timeline, goals and outcomes table, and the budget, which we will go over those a little bit later. Page numbers need to be in the footer. Applications may not include hyperlinks and no proprietary or sensitive business information. So completed applications must include the following components: the application form, and this is saved as, well, you can see there, but a sample of the application form is available in Appendix A, the project summary cover, which is available in Appendix D, the project narrative. This must include a narrative as seen in Appendix C, the timeline in Appendix D of the NGA, goals and outcomes table in Appendix E, the NGA and sustainability plan as seen in Appendix F, the letters of support, and this can be each application, sorry, must have at least 1 to 3 letters of support and see Appendix G of the NGA for a template. All right, so we're going to take a closer look at each appendix here. So this is, uh, we'll start off with Appendix B, and you will see the requirement to place the rapid sponsor ID number for applicants that will propose expanding a currently registered apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship. If you're proposing to add a new occupation to an existing registered apprenticeship, you will need to enter the rapid sponsor ID number. Next, you will see 2 opportunities to select from and the outcomes specific to each opportunity. Priority consideration categories are listed for applicants to select. Some of the priority considerations request a page number within the project narrative regarding the aspect of considerations. And then this is just a close-up of priority considerations. Here's the scoring. Then for Appendix C, this requires the applicant to detail the need for the program and clearly identify the initiatives of the NGA. Next to the appendix, you will note the score sheet, which is taken directly from the NGA's evaluation criteria. The scoring criteria identifies the design and management of the apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship. Appendix D is the timeline of the project. You need to include benchmarks specific to goals and outcome achievements, provide tentative registration dates for new apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeships to be developed, and the high-level details found in the project narrative. Appendix E offers opportunity 1 or 2 goals/outcomes to start your planning. Click the box in 1, 2, and 3 that align with the selection of your project need. Indicate performance metrics, evaluation methods, target numbers, etc. Additional goals and outcomes can be added below in text boxes 4 and 5. And it's important to note, please only fill out one table for Appendix E. So either you will be filling out either the left or the right table. Appendix F is the sustainability plan, which is a high-level review of the information found in the project narrative. It must note how the apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship will continue beyond the grants. Appendix G is the letter of support template for partners your project will involve, and yet again, 1 to 3 letters of support are required. So this is continuing on here. This is Appendix H, or this mentions Appendix H, which is the Grant Financial Reporting Package, or GFRP. The budget justification tab should be completed, and a sample of the GFRP is available in Appendix H of the NGA. Expenditures by line item, requested and leveraged funds, and budget justification must be completed and submitted as an Excel spreadsheet. And then, again, that's Appendix H. And then finally, Appendix I. For Appendix I, you need the worker protection certification form, and a sample of this form is available in Appendix I. So to review budget categories, please reference the quick reference guide available on the LNI Grants website for details. The GFRP has 4 tabs. The first tab will auto-populate based on all the information placed in the budget and EXP details tab. The budget just instructions tab will provide you with details on what should be listed in the budget justification tab. As a reminder, for both opportunities, a minimum of 2,000 per apprentice must be budgeted to support on-the-job learning/training, RTI, PI or related technical instruction and provide wraparound support services. And the minimum for applicants supporting pre-apprentices, $600 per pre-apprentice needs to be budgeted to support work experience, RTI, and wraparound services. The totals are listed on the screen and also in the NGA. Incomplete application packages or application packages that do not meet the identified specifications will not be reviewed or scored. Please note that the timeline, goals and outcomes table, sustainability plan, letters of support, budget form, budget justification, and the worker protection certification form do not count towards the total number of pages. Application packages must be submitted electronically to atogrants@pa.gov. Again, atogrants@pa.gov by the application deadline. And the subject line for your email submission must include supporting agriculture grant application and then your organization's name. And once that's submitted, an email response will be sent to you upon receipt of your application, and this is to essentially just confirm that the application was in fact received by the deadline. If you So this is very important. If you don't receive an automatic email response, please contact the LNI ATO at 717-787-6997 and be prepared to provide details about your submission, such as an email proof of the submission from your sent items folder, your contact information, and the name of the grant for which you're applying. Supporting Pennsylvania's agriculture sector through apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships applications are due by February 28th, 2025 at 4 p.m. and late applications will not be accepted. So for the estimated funding and award size, approximately $2 million is available, and grants will be awarded and funded competitively based on two opportunities for the development and expansion of registered apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. And LNI anticipates a period of performance beginning July 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2027. This NGA is 100% state funded. Additional information regarding award notices, grant agreements, reporting and evaluation, and allowable and disallowable costs and expenses can again be found in the NGA. Grant expenses will be paid on a reimbursement basis only. Grant expenses include actual costs that are accompanied by supporting documentation with monthly invoices submitted through the PA CareerLink site, also known as CWDS. And questions regarding the content of this NGA must be submitted via email to atogrants@pa.gov. And please, again, use the following subject line: supporting agriculture grant application, your organization's name.